Do we still need marriage today?
It's not a need. I'm a Christian. I do not believe in divorce frivolously.
Would you get married if divorce was illegal?
Yes, I would, but I would take longer.
And what do you think a man wants from you?
Can't answer the second one.
Well, I want you to guess. You're intelligent. I want you to
I'm
guess.
highly intelligent, which is why I would never even try, because I wouldn't ever know what a man really wants.
I think we do need to know what the other partner wants. And the reason I say this is because if we want to attract that kind of person, we have to look at ourselves and be like, have I become the kind of person who attracts that kind of relationship and that kind of individual? Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I've got a great conversation lined up for you today. You know, on this channel, we love to talk about all things dating, relationships, and seeing what we can do to attract the kind of person and relationship we want. So without further ado, please welcome Paige to the show. Paige, welcome.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I haven't been in an environment where I could talk freely with someone else about dating.
Yes.
Normally I kind of just word vomit on my own Instagram. So it'll be really nice to actually have an open dialogue.
Have a dialogue with
another human.
Well, to be fair, you're having a conversation just with yourself.
Yeah, it'd be nice to break that up a little bit. If possible.
Bring someone else into the room.
Yeah, every now and again.
We'll take it.
Yes.
Take it. So listen, I love to jump straight in.
Yes.
So first tell us your age or your age range, asking a lady her age, and something a guy should know about you if he was going to take you on a date.
I'm 32.
Okay.
And I have stopped toxic people pleasing, which means I, through very expensive therapy, have learned how to set boundaries for the first time, which can be a turn off.
Okay.
I've noticed to certain types of men.
Okay, what kind of boundaries is the turn off happening at?
Boundaries where if it feels like somebody is maybe crossing a line in terms of like, okay, I don't feel comfortable with this level of comms through the day. And sometimes when it's new and exciting, the back and forth texting, we all know it very well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was something I used to do quite a bit.
Yes.
And then there gets a point sometimes where I'm doing it because the other person's doing it.
Yes.
And I feel obliged.
Yes.
But I'm busy.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to feel like I'm pulling away. So a boundary needs to be set, right?
Sure.
But then I do feel like the fragility of both men and women in this age means that they don't want to be experiencing any kind of rejection.
So how do you set that boundary?
Starters, you mean to go on?
So what do you say?
In my opinion, it's more around saying, I'll be back at this time, or I have a really busy day. I'm back to back, but I will be back as soon as I'm free from this meeting, or I'll catch up with you later.
Yep.
Setting that boundary, even if you actually do want to do the back and forth.
Yes.
It's like setting a boundary with yourself as well.
Yep.
So things don't burn out really fast.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the issues, especially in the age of dating apps.
Yeah.
You peak within a week. Suddenly it feels like by Friday, you met Monday, Friday, you feel like I'm going to marry them. And it's because the back and forth has been back and forthing a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And you've actually dropped the ball on things.
Yeah.
You know, throughout the week. You should have been more focused on work. You've ignored calls from mum.
Yes.
Right? And
yes.
I do think that getting some pace back in.
Yeah.
But that's also sometimes a little bit difficult if you're excited as well.
Yeah.
So my thing for any man who was approaching me is knowing that I paid too much money for therapy to not start using it. And one of the biggest things was to, even if it makes it seem like I'm distancing myself, to respect any boundaries I put in place, because I'm doing it so that we can go the distance.
I completely hear that. And it's really interesting you say that, because that's a problem I hear men have. Where that if they don't respond within a certain time, if they seem to be suddenly go inconsistent, or what's perceived as inconsistent, the woman goes, well, if he wanted to, he would. Well, clearly he's not into me, or he's playing games.
I do understand that though, because if you notice, there's one key difference between what I'm doing and what a lot of men that I've even experienced that do disappear, what they're not doing.
Go on.
It's the communication piece.
But this is why I asked, what do you say to them?
Correct. So for example, somebody, morning beautiful. Hi, Craig.
Hello, Mr. Staple.
Hello. You have your little morning back and forth, fine. And then if it continues, maybe we get to like mid-morning and it's still going, say, right, I'm going to be off the grid for a few hours. I've got such a hectic day. So if I disappear on you, just know I'll be back this evening. Have an amazing day.
I completely agree with you. And I agree that I think a lot of guys don't do that.
They don't do that.
And I think the reason they don't do that is because a lot of women would take that as rejection. That's their perception.
Really?
100%. It's like, for example, I always say this, right? Guys like to have their own time for self-maintenance.
Sure.
Right? Now, if he's been dating a girl, they're used to spending each weekend or every other weekend together, right? Instead of saying to her, hey, I just want to have time for myself this weekend, he'll make up saying, oh, I'm busy with X, Y, and Z.
So that he saves her feelings.
That's right.
Right.
And I think because, especially between men and women, not all the time, but men feel this obligation to look after her emotions.
Right.
And so in that, instead of saying something that might be genuinely truthful, but she may feel rejected because maybe she doesn't understand, he will make something up to help manage how she feels.
Like pacify her.
Right. I'm not saying that's the right decision.
No, that's very interesting.
But it happens a lot. Even in relationships between men and women where they've been together for X amount of time.
Yeah.
Guys will still do that.
I think one question I have is, where did that man learn the tools, the emotional intelligence tools, to navigate what he's trying to do? Did somebody help you to understand what women feel and how they feel and what should... Because you're assuming that that's what actually makes a woman feel better. From where? From what educational standpoint?
I like it.
Otherwise, you're just making things up and saying it's for my benefit. Who told you that?
Because men have had that experience of telling her the truth and being transparent. It was not received well.
Fair.
And so they learn through their own experience with women that actually there are times where she wants you to prioritize how she feels over telling her the truth of reality. Because because I'm just being honest, right?
Yeah.
A lot of like the texting back and forth, I said usually guys feel the need of, okay, he's making an effort in communicating with her more because he knows that's what matters to her. He doesn't want to do that naturally to that extent a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Right? But he makes an effort because he goes, okay, I know this is what she likes. This is what she wants to do. Right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But he's not messaging her because he wants to message her that often. He's messaging her because it makes her feel a type of way. Right? And so the reason he will say, instead of saying, hey, I know I'm free this weekend, but I just want time for myself. Because a lot of the time...
Oh, no, that would not go down well. At all.
But that's the truth.
That is the truth. I do think 2 points.
Go for
You're
it.
right. That would not go down well. Even with me, I'd be like, excuse me?
Thank you very much.
So you're 100% right. But I also think that as women and men, it's okay that we package things in a way that is able to be digested correctly. If you care about someone, I do it every day. My content is for black women predominantly, and I want them to love themselves and love their natural hair. So the way I package my messages has to be particular.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I do.
Brother, sister? Do you have a brother?
I'm the baby, and then 2 older sisters and 1 older brother.
Okay, so let's say your older brother comes to you. He wants to spend time with himself for the weekend. He has a girlfriend of 6 months.
Right.
Okay. She wants to see him this weekend. He's free, but he just wants time for himself.
Yes.
How would you tell him to communicate that to her?
There are a lot of variants, and I'm not skirting around it because I could give an answer, but the problem is it depends on the person, because I actually have an older brother who has come to me for somewhat dating advice. But the girlfriend in question, I felt, was emotionally very raw all the time.
Sure.
Right? So then the advice I would give for that scenario, very different to the advice I would give to somebody where I think she can handle
So
truth.
what would you give for that
For
scenario?
that situation,
Yep.
I would say that I'm just exhausted at the moment. And I'm not saying it would even work. I need that caveat in there. I honestly don't think it would.
Paige, you need to give one that's going to work.
No, I don't, because it's dependent on the reception from the other person. You can't control that.
I agree.
So work is, what does that mean, work? Because I can't control the way somebody receives a message. All I can say is the best chance you have
Go for it.
is say, I'm exhausted from whatever. If you have a really taxing job, maybe there's been family dynamic, whatever it is, you choose something that you feel that she'll resonate with and understand.
Whether it's truthful or not.
I do believe that if you've decided to have an emotionally raw or erratic life partner, then unfortunately it means white lies have to come into play.
So you're basically telling, basically proving what I said.
Yes, no, I completely agree. My point is simply you choose the female or you choose the male. And when you do choose that particular partner, then you're taking the responsibility on for how much truth or how much falsified or lies. You have to decide that. Because for me, I would rather be in a situation with somebody where even if I get put out, because I think he wants to be alone on the weekend, he tells me that. So then you have to choose the right person.
So I get you. Now, here's the thing. In terms of what is emotionally raw, that's based on, a lot of people are based on where they feel they sit.
Sure.
Right? So because we measure people through our own standards a lot of the time. For a lot of guys, because guys, we can handle that truth with each other.
Yes.
Right? Like, we talk about if a few guys are about to go out, one guy's wearing a shirt, he's not looking great, we'll be like, bro, like you're looking, the button's about to burst. Do you know what I mean? Your button's about to burst. You know you haven't hit the gym for 3 months. You're going to scare the women away. Like, go change. As women, you're not going to say that. No.
But
surely you'd be like more.
This is the problem with sweeping statements because that's how I am. But I'm very. Have you never met women that are dry, very crass, very sarcastic?
Yes.
Right. Hello. So.
Of course.
I'm in that group. So it makes it difficult because I understand what you're saying and you have truth to it. But there are so many different types of archetypes of men and women because I know some men that would be like really offended.
I completely agree
with
with
what you've said. So how do we?
So there are always exceptions to the rule, right? But when you don't, so coming back to about with like, for example, your brother and his partner.
Yes.
If based on, and I'm talking generalities, I'm aware. If we're talking that compared to him, his girlfriend feels emotionally raw. And for a lot of men, right? Not all, but for a lot of men, they feel that their girlfriend is more emotionally raw than he is.
Right.
Yeah.
The dynamic is that every man has an emotionally raw partner to that man.
To that man.
Yes. Okay.
So if we say that's the case for 85% of men, 85% of men, what we just said, we have to include a white lie to make sure she's okay.
Yeah. So that's softening the blow, in effect.
And that's why guys make up, for example, make up a story to tell her instead of telling her the truth. Because if we understand from most guys, it seems their girlfriend's more emotionally raw, which is usually the case, how he feels. He wants to protect how she feels, regardless of telling her the transparent truth, which is I just don't want to spend time with anyone right now.
So I'm going back to what I said in terms of, but who gave you the tools in terms of navigating what to say? I think that's something, there's a nuance there that we're maybe not tapping into in terms of men sometimes expanding on a lie or going too far with a lie. I think that sometimes is where the hurt is. Yep. Because all it may need, if we're trying to soften the blow, is I am exhausted. I don't have the energy. I have this, or my brother's coming round, for example. Okay, so these are soft. To me, anyway, it's my opinion. These are softenings. But then sometimes when I think women can feel put out is when the lie is so elaborate that you're like, excuse me?
You're going to the moon till Friday?
Till when? Are you going there?
Yeah, what the fuck?
And then you're looking at them on Instagram and you're like, they seem like they're okay. Actually. And I think that's when I said, I get the mindset behind it, but I do feel as if, is it better if you have not been trained, right? Trained as in some boys who have grown up with their mum, with their sisters. I'd say the training has been elite. They've been just surrounded by women. So their emotional intelligence, I have found in my experience, is a lot higher.
Sure.
So when they're navigating these types of things, they know, let me not push this lie too far, because I might push it way too far left. But when we're saying 80% of men that may not have had that kind of upbringing around women, or they don't have natural inbuilt empathy. Yep. That's where I do believe, women's intuition will sense, especially if it's frequent. Yes. If you need a lot of time on your own. Yes. That's where I start to think, well, do you need to be with that person?
So I agree with you. So I would say that the approach men should take is to tell her the truth, whether she feels she can handle it or not. And the reason I say that is because best case, in that scenario, right?
Yeah.
There's 3 outcomes. Okay?
Right. Okay.
He tells her the truth. She feels hurt about it.
Sure.
He gives her a white lie where he gets what he needs. So
Right.
one of his needs is met,
Yes.
but she doesn't feel rejected.
Yes.
He tells her the white lie, but she finds out.
Yes.
That's worst case scenario, right? So when he tells her the white lie, it's a risk.
It is.
Because you're risking best of both. You get your needs met. She doesn't feel hurt, but you're also risking her finding out. That's even worse.
Nightmare.
Right? I think guys should opt for number 1 always. And the reason I say I think they should opt for telling her the truth is because 1, she begins to understand what he needs for himself. And so the more she understands that, the less she'll feel like it's a rejection.
Completely agree.
The second thing is that if she is quote unquote emotionally raw, where she can't understand this is a need of her partner and it's not a rejection of her, that's a reflection on the work she has to do.
I completely agree.
Right?
Yes.
And a lot of the times we're going to be the most sensitive and most triggered in our romantic relationships. So that's when we think we're all great when we're single, and then we get into a relationship, we're like, all this stuff is coming up for me and I don't know why. And it's natural, right? So sometimes we can not realize we need to work on an element of ourselves until we're in a romantic situation.
I agree.
I've always opted for telling the truth.
I agree. But the issue I find
Go on.
is men I've seen met experience won't go for the women that are able to handle the truth.
We don't know she can until we're there.
Sir, there is definitely an archetype of man where I've seen that he's experienced or knows the difference between a woman that is emotionally raw, right?
Yes.
And a woman that probably could handle the truth.
Yes.
The question is, how do they look?
So
The
what you're
differences between the aesthetic of each. And I know men, I'm friends with men who have said, I know she's a little crazy, but she is
100%. So what it is that whether she is emotionally raw or not
Right.
is not an attraction trigger for men. You're right. It's not an attraction trigger. So like a man's not going to choose a woman because she is more or less emotionally raw. There are other things that attract him to her.
agreed. But then when we're sat here saying, oh, poor men being forced to make
I didn't say poor men.
No, but the sentiment, oh, these men, they're trying their best with the tools they have because the women are so emotionally raw, my word, by the way.
Yeah.
We have to remember that a lot of times men are the leaders in terms of how they further a relationship with who. And especially with dating apps, I do find that, you know, if a man doesn't want to be with you, a man doesn't want to be with you. And I think the general sentiment is if a woman does, but the man doesn't, then the woman is chasing, right? But I feel like a lot of times it can feel like the man is courting and building the relationship because historically it's been, I'm the man and I lead and I protect, and that's been the narrative.
Yes.
Right. So it means that in a lot of cases, it is kind of the man kind of calling the shots to a degree. You know, I'm really interested in this woman, so I want to go after this woman. And if he does and the woman likes her, then many times it will work.
Sure.
So if the man is leading the charge on who he deems to be worthy to be a partner of his, and he is obviously playing the field, he's experiencing emotionally stable women in the midst of that.
Yep.
So a lot of times there is choice. You know, there are options of women that could handle the truth,
Of course.
where he wouldn't have to live his life making up white lies about how his brother's coming round and how he needs. He doesn't necessarily need to, but it's weighing up the pros and the cons. And everyone's got to eat a shit sandwich in this life. And I think a lot of times they want the big bottomed shit sandwich.
I hear you, and you're not wrong. But remember, if we take the generalization that to most men, most women seem more emotionally raw than him, then by default, he has to look after emotions more so than him.
Sure.
By default, on an average probability. And in terms of, now here's the thing, the irony is in terms of like, okay, him choosing that woman, the reason I said guys should opt for telling her the truth, even if she doesn't like it in the moment, is because that's going to encourage her to grow in that area that she needs to for the relationship.
If she does. And this is why
100%.
I'm going to therapy.
Yeah.
And I advise it if you can, because there's things at 32, having been to therapy, that I now look at Me at 25, I'm like, that was unnecessary.
And life's a journey, right? Life's a journey.
Whoa, why did you do that?
Probably shouldn't have keyed his car.
Oh no, oh gosh.
He was just seeing his mum.
We did not need to call him that many times. So we've all been there. It's all a progression, but I think one of the trickiest parts about dating, which is why I've tapped out for the last over 2 years now.
Yeah.
Is because I realize that I can go and do all the therapy in the world, but if the other people I'm dating are not, or you don't need therapy to have certain awarenesses and realizations, life can teach you these things.
Very true.
But if you've not gone through the right types of realizations for what I need you to realize, does that make sense?
So can you give me an example of what you feel that you need men to realize that they're not?
So the truth piece, I 100% love a truthful man, but I think there's a balance, because as a woman, I know I have hormones, and I think we need to be honest about how our brains change and our moods change. This is biology. This isn't simply just like women are crazy. Like, it really is a huge change. And that means that there's an empathy that's required. There's a sensitivity, there's an emotional intelligence to know when sometimes the cold hard truth being like slapped in my face, it might not be the time for it. And I think that's when you start to build an affection for somebody where you think, she doesn't need it today. In the same way that sometimes you see a man and you think, he's had a rough time. He doesn't need to know he left the milk out again. I can put the milk back. That's fine. He's had a hard day. And I think that's when I start to build real feelings for someone, when I can see that they know maybe 80% of the time, Paige is good with the truth. Even if it's a bit difficult, I'm good. But on the days where I'm having a bit of a rough time, can we put the pedal on and take it off? Is there balance? And I think the problem is not everybody is good at that balance.
I agree. I would say for both. I agree. Not everyone,
for both sides.
Yeah, I agree. That's a balance that has to be worked upon.
Yeah.
And you only get good by seeing the times you got it wrong.
Yes and no, because again, it's how everybody receives it differently. So you could be elite, which I'm sure you are.
Stop it.
I'm sure you are at knowing
I know what she's doing.
When to just,
and it's working.
Yeah.
But I know what she's doing.
You know how to play that balance of like, maybe not today. Today you're going to hear it.
Sure.
Right. But if there's somebody that isn't good at receiving,
yep,
doesn't matter how good you are. And this is this is why I tapped out for a little bit, because I realized that there's a lot of work in terms of understanding how to communicate that needs to be done, I think, in the generation at the moment. I think especially because the internet's kind of just come
social skills are lacking.
Yeah, social skills are waning.
Yeah.
So it means that whilst I'm working on myself, that's great. That's one piece of the puzzle. But actually, it doesn't matter how much I do the work. I need to be able to find a partner that's also either done the work or is emotionally intelligent enough to be able to have that honest dialogue. And not everyone's going to receive.
I hear that.
My healed self.
Yes,
It doesn't
I hear
matter
that.
how healed I am.
But even if, like, let's say, for example, even if, of course, a woman's hormones, right?
Sure.
It's a lot more complex in terms of her cycle.
It really is.
Over the month, right? And I don't know if you've heard, but there's even been studies in terms of, when a woman's ovulating, the kind of man she's attracted to is very different to when she's just about to come on her period and when she's on.
Yeah,
right?
it's the estrogen progesterone battle.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
So let's say, for example, I'm not saying this is the case, but for example, let's say when a woman is ovulating, i.e. she's in a highest sexual peak to get the best DNA, she wants that alpha masculine provider dominant guy.
Sure.
Then when she's on her menstrual cycle, when she's on her period, she wants the soft beta who's going to cater to her feelings and emotional, softness, sensitivity. Now, I think what the issue with some guys is, you go, cool, well, if you wanted me because of this alpha masculine type,
Right.
you can't expect me to switch just because you're on your period. Like, that's not me.
Agreed.
Right? So if I'm the man that you want for 85% of the time, I think guys go, why is that not enough?
I think there's nuance in a human brain, though.
Yes.
Yeah, like as a man, you're a nuanced man.
Maybe.
You can be alpha, but I'm sure if there was a family member that was ill,
Of course.
You can be soft.
Of course.
And I think most men are. It's not whether or not they can be, it's whether or not they want to, in my opinion, because
Go on.
I think about men and their mothers. Not every man has a great relationship with his mum or his sister.
Sure.
But those that do, you see this just really sweet, often very, it's like they put gloves on with them.
I agree.
And I've seen this with really masculine men.
I agree.
But then sometimes I don't see that translate in the relationships where I think, okay, so you have the capacity for that switch.
Yep.
So it's now a case of, do you want to do that for this person? Because we know you love your mum, and she's almost maybe earned that right. Mm-hmm. But maybe is that you saying that you don't feel that that partner has earned the right for you to switch for them in that way?
I hear you. I don't think it's about that.
Right.
I think the reason that's not a fair comparison is because he's had a relationship with his mum for his entire life.
Sure.
So there would have been times where he would have got it wrong. And she would have got it wrong. Same with his sisters. I have a great relationship with my mum. I have a great relationship with both my younger sisters, right? Now, the way even though technically, okay, I'm the eldest, Nigerian family.
Sure.
I'm the man now, whatever, especially since dad has passed or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Even with that, yes, there are times where I'm, more catering in terms of how my mum would feel certain things, but I know I can be a lot more truthful with my mum with certain things when we have certain conversations. With the eldest of my two sisters, maybe I can do that. The youngest one, I can't do that with yet.
Yeah.
Right? So with those relationships with the women in his life, they would have learned over time, this is the kind of relationship I can have with this person. He's not going to get that right within the first 3-5 months with you. This is what I was saying. This is something that takes over time for him to learn, right? In terms of getting that balance. Now, in regards to, like, for example, he's this alpha guy 85% of the time, which is why you're attracted to him.
Sure.
And that 15% he's lacking in the softer side of you, right? If his experience in terms of what attracts the kind of woman he wants you is who he is 85% of the time, that's where his strengths lie.
Okay. Yeah.
He's not had much practice being in the 15%
Agreed.
that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only way he's going to get practice in that is through experience.
Right.
Sometimes he's going to get it right. Sometimes he's going to get it wrong. What we're looking for is not even necessarily, and this is my opinion, not necessarily whether he gets it right. Is he improving every time?
I completely agree.
And then this is when, for example, as a woman, you can communicate your needs. As in, this is something I had to learn. I didn't learn this till my mid-20s. I had to learn, right? If someone comes to me with a problem, especially if it's a woman in my life, I want to solve it. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what we can do, X, Y, and Z. I had to learn. Sometimes, Kit, she just wants you to hear her. She just wants you to listen. She's not coming to you to solve the problem. She just wants some emotional support in that moment.
Sure.
And just to validate how she's feeling.
So now you've learned that, and
right.
you can adapt.
But and I can do that now for, whoever the woman I'm with, but I only learned that because I got it wrong before.
Right.
And she said, look, in those moments, and luckily I had a girlfriend who just said, look, in those moments, I know you want to help me, etc.
But I just need
you to listen.
Me.
I was like, oh,
this whole time.
This makes sense. I'm giving her a solution. Why is she like angry still?
Yeah.
Because with my friends, we could talk about solution. That's what we do. So we have to be able to provide the space for them to grow.
And I think that is the dynamic of allowing a man the space to be able to soften, and in doing so that means he can be softer to you when you need it.
Yep.
That is on the woman.
But
the
I think
woman
also
has to create that environment.
But also tell him, like, I literally say, look, babe, when I'm like this is what's going to help me. Because the thing is, as guys, we're very
women
logical.
not doing that? I might sound really silly, because that, to me, that sounds silly that you said that women should do that, because in my head I'm like, so what is the alternative? So what are women doing then?
They're just expecting the man to know. And the man's like, I don't understand why.
Okay, so then this is where we're going to have some moments during this conversation like that.
Yeah.
Where I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah,
because
that's cool.
I have been in several relationships, and to be honest, I'm a truth teller. And I try and package it in the nicest way, but sometimes the truth is difficult. So I'm used to that. And in my head, I can't imagine how
But
any
you're
human...
an exception, though.
Oh, okay. Well, but then my friends are also like that. And
Birds of a feather flock together.
Ah, damn you.
I get it because
in my head I'm trying to, the gif of the old woman and there's algebra here, and when you just said that, I said, but how is he to know if you don't say it?
100%.
So then is it just a case of, to be fair, I do recall some friends where they'll just be in a hump for a while. And yeah.
Like, he needs to figure this out.
Yeah.
Like, let me give the example, but also as well, you might push back on this. Also as well,
yes,
some women don't actually know what they want. That's
true.
Let me give this example.
Me included.
Guy and a girl, right? Evening. Girl says to the guy, "Hey babe, do you mind just doing the dishes before we come to bed?"
Who says that?
The girl says that to the guy. There's dishes in the sink. She's like, "Do you mind washing the dishes before we go to bed?" "Yeah, babe, don't worry, I'll do that." She wakes up in the morning, dishes haven't been done. Right? Dishes haven't been done.
What?
Now, she goes to him like, "Hey, why can't you do the dishes? You said you're going to do them." He's like, okay, yeah, I'll do them. I've done them. But she's still pissed off, right?
Right.
And he's like, "Why are you pissed off? I've done the dishes." And she goes, "It's not about doing the dishes. I want you to want to do the dishes."
I know that dynamic.
Right?
I know.
And he's thinking in his head, like, logically, because men, we think very logically.
Yeah.
It's like, no one wants to do the dishes. Why would I want to do that?
Yes.
What she's trying to communicate, it's not that she wants him to do the action, it's what the action means to her and the relationship.
Yes.
Because by him making an effort to do the dishes shows that he's thinking about her and thinking about the relationship. That is about what it means.
I completely agree.
A lot of women in that situation don't actually know that's what they're trying to say, but they're expecting him to figure it out.
But this is why I tapped out of dating, because I'm not even judging anyone at this point, because until I had therapy, there were certain things that I also didn't understand about how I was engaging with the wider population.
Sure.
So there were instances where I was being a menace.
I need to hear this menace side of you.
Being a menace is just, my standards are very high.
In what sense?
I'm an overachiever in every facet of the word.
Yes.
Work, sales, everything. Like
Fantastic. We love to see it.
Yeah, but I do think, especially when you've come from nothing, worked really hard. Do you know what I mean? So I've seen broke.
Yeah.
I don't want broke anywhere near me again.
Yeah.
You can stay outside. I know what that looks like.
Yes.
No, thank you.
Yes.
So as a result, it means that I'm now, my expectations for myself here, but also other people. So
Yes.
I put myself on that, like, I'm trying to achieve this, right? So I'm not going to be, and then expecting you to be here. I'm saying I am very hard on myself.
Yes.
So I am relatively hard on other people in terms of thinking, look, I know life is tough, but we've got to dig deep.
Yeah.
So then when it comes to having tolerance, my tolerance used to be quite low, because I would think, well, I've struggled for years doing this, and I built myself up, and you can't do this. My tolerance was really, but I was a sales director, so I think there was a blur. My personal and my professional blurred too much.
Right.
And then when I went to therapy, I realized my therapist said, you have to accept what people have to give you at that time.
Very true. Very
because
wise.
it's all they've got.
Very wise.
And now I accept what you've got. Is that what you've got? Fab.
So do you think you're more tolerant now?
Oh yeah, loads more. Because now I've realized if that's all you've got, it's like understanding that pain is relative, right? So I might have broken my leg and someone broke their finger, but in breaking their finger, they can't work now.
Yes.
So their whole world is crashing down, and you think, well, it's not the same. Well, it is. Pain is relative to the situation you were in and what you've been through before.
Yeah.
So now understanding that my tolerance is way higher. What you've got, we'll work with. And if I can help make it better, or if there's anything I can do, I'll try.
Yes.
But it took me going away, tapping out of dating and being like, I might be the problem, and then going to do therapy to come back. But not everyone either has the money for therapy.
True.
Or has the awareness to think, am I the problem?
Sure. 100%.
To go and do the work to come back like ready.
Yes. So when you said that you feel like your standards are now up here, what were you referring to?
My standards of, it actually wasn't in money or anything like that. It was in empathy standards. So I'm a nurturer.
Got you.
Yeah. So if you're not feeling well, I can rub your feet. I'll make food. I'll do all these things. And I don't do it to get anything back. I really enjoy it. I just like looking after people.
Yeah.
Does something for me.
Yes.
So then when I'm ill or I'm sad and somebody's not that bothered, I think
that's fair though. If someone's not that bothered though, I'd be And tell me from your experience,
Yeah.
but if a man's in a relationship with a woman,
Yes.
where they're together and she's a bit sad and he's just unbothered, is that common?
It can be, but I also believe it's partly on the woman to choose the right partner. And
Sure.
this is where there's caveats. There's a lot of caveats when it comes to even the dialogue we've had up to this point, where you have to also realize that if you are fortunate enough to find somebody where I always picture humans as jigsaw puzzles.
Yes.
And like my space here, you've got something for that.
Yes.
And your space I've got. And then you do that. So if you're fortunate enough to find that, then the reality is half the stuff we talked about doesn't even matter. Over texting doesn't matter when the man's obsessed and the woman's obsessed. I've had that many times, and we ended up in a relationship for 5 years that we simply just outgrew because we outgrew as people. But I have a lot of love in my heart for that man.
Yeah.
And you know, when I've experienced this a number of times, and I've seen it happen a number of times, when you're lucky enough to both be equally as obsessed with one another, then half these things don't matter.
I think they don't matter
because you're
for
both
the first,
excited.
Yeah, through the honeymoon phase, yeah. Because
I
even
mean,
if you
if
have,
it's short-lived obsession, fine. But I've seen people that are like truly obsessed with one another.
I know, but I think what can happen if it's like long term, they've made a decision to continue to work on the things they need to themselves and within a relationship to make it work because of how they feel with the person.
Correct. But when both of them feel that way, is what I'm saying, that this whole like you've got to put the work in and you've got to do this and you've got to, when you are both in a mind, and you don't have to be perfect for one another, by the way, like you can make your jigsaw work, but I'm saying when you're both in the mindset of like, I really like this human, so okay, I'm going to work on this and I'm going to keep working on it.
Yep.
I think that's when you see people really go the distance.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
I think the decision to make that choice
Yes.
is irrespective of how that person feels about said person. I think the decision is more a reflection on the character of the person making that decision. I think there's a correlation.
So if you are the type of person that in other scenarios, let's say, would say, how can I make this situation better?
Exactly.
Then you are going to apply that to the dynamic in a relationship.
100%.
But if you're normally maybe quite selfish or self-absorbed,
You can be obsessed with that person. That doesn't mean you'll choose to do the work you
right.
need to.
You're right, because you wouldn't have the capacity or the awareness to know that you even need to, because a narcissist would think that they've done nothing wrong.
Exactly.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
You see what I'm saying? I love this. I love this. Let me ask you a question.
Okay. Let me get my coffee.
What do you want from a man, and what do you think a man wants from you?
Can't answer the second one.
Well, I want you to guess. You're intelligent. I want you to
I'm
guess that.
highly intelligent, which is why I would never even try, because I wouldn't ever know what a man really wants. And I think that's part of the problem, is that men are like, what do men want? What do women want? It's none of my business what a man really wants.
Is it not?
No, because I think the issue is that we change. We change also when we meet people.
Yep.
Let me give you a tiny anecdote. I had very short hair at a point when I was dating. It was like a pixie cut. I went on a date with a man. It was going really well. Halfway through the date, he stopped. He looked at me and he was completely dumbfounded. I said, what? What's wrong? I'm thinking something's on my face. He said, I just realised you have short hair. I don't find women with short hair attractive normally. And his brain looked completely like he just...
Why would you say that, bro?
Yeah, I know. It looked like he shut down in his head because he was like, whoa, you don't have long hair? And then was completely trying to work out in his mind, like, how do I find someone attractive with short hair? My point is simply that you don't know what you want sometimes until it's right in front of you. And you could say, I don't find this attractive. And then just the most fabulous person with all of that pops up and you're like, oh, never mind.
If you're loving this episode and these kinds of conversations, then I want to give you something. We recently launched the Kits Angels community. This is a sisterhood for women who are tired of what the dating scene has given them and are ready to take their love lives to the next level. It's a space for you as a woman to not be alone in your journey to love, where we learn, talk, and share our experiences as part of a strong sisterhood, with some leadership and guidance from yours truly, of course. Not to mention never before seen videos from me on how I've led dozens of women to meeting great men. And so as a thank you for watching this episode, I'm giving you a month's membership completely complimentary on me. Just click the Kits Angels link below, and when you join the group, message me the code phrase Angels Podcast and I will pay for your membership. Now back to the episode. But then from that example, he would go, oh, he went from a surface level to something deeper. So, okay, she had short hair, but actually it was this thing about her that I really loved. That's what I want in a woman.
But I don't know that because he doesn't know that. So when you're saying what do I want, or what was the second question?
What do you think men want from you?
Right. That's why I can't answer, because a man may not know until he meets me. Do you see? So I'm saying to you, I could say I want him to think I'm intelligent and I want him to this. But in actual fact, when we meet, it might be the fact that he's really empathetic and likes the fact that I'm empathetic, and that's where we connect. But I choose him because I think he's a high value man. He's got a good job. And then when we meet, we're like, oh, we're not the surface, actually.
Sure.
We're here.
Sure.
And the connection happens here
Yep.
with things I didn't even know about you.
Yep.
You see?
I get what you're saying. Though I think there are definitely some things that I think we do need to know what the other partner wants. And the reason I say this is because if we want to attract that kind of person,
Right.
we have to look at ourselves and be like, have I become the kind of person who attracts that kind of relationship and that kind of individual? And the only way we know that, and this is like for guys especially, because obviously, especially when guys go through, teenagers that start getting interested in women.
Yeah.
Because traditionally as men, we're the pursuers, right? Women sleep with who they want to, men sleep with who they can get. We have to know what you want. We have to know what you want.
Yeah.
In order to get you. Now, what I would say is that, of course, now women are the gatekeepers for physical intimacy, men are the gatekeepers for commitment. So as a woman, if you want to get commitment from a certain man, naughty. If you want to get commitment from a certain man,
Yeah.
you do need to know what he wants.
I think in an ideal world, right, what I think a man would want if he was approaching me, he'd want a wife. He'd want marriage. I'm not dating to date anymore. And I think the concept of it is actually really odd. I think when you look at how we've progressed as a society from, say, the 40s, the 50s to now, there seems to be this complete opposition to the traditionalism of the 40s, 50s and 60s. And I always say that I wish we had more middle ground where I don't think that having this rigid must marry him, do it now, oh no, thank you. I need a bit more flex. But then I also look at 2025 and I'm like, but we also shouldn't just be dating to date forever. Like there should be intention behind it.
Yeah.
And there doesn't seem to be any middle ground anymore.
On that, actually.
Yeah.
So, do we still need marriage today?
It's not a need. You have to also understand I'm a Christian.
Right.
Right. So when I say I'm a Christian, I tell you this because the value I have is I'm looking for a life partner to share my life with, my faith with, have a unit with, and I do not believe in divorce frivolously. If I don't like you, which means in my head, I'm doubling down. So when I say marriage, it's me saying we're in it.
I get you.
And not everybody shares that as a
Sure.
value.
I understand. So, from the male perspective,
Right.
every woman says this. Everyone says, I don't believe in divorce. If I'm married, I want to marry one person, etc. Like
Does
that's
every
what.
woman say? Because I have
Of
friends
course.
that don't say.
They might not say that to. They may say that to you behind
But
closed
you're
doors.
saying most women say
No one.
2025 with dating apps where they say, "I'll send you my pants if you want."
No, I'm
women
saying when
say
they talk
that.
about marriage.
I don't see a lot of women talking about marriage now. I don't know if we're living in the same. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
No.
I hear a lot of women saying that when the women who want to get married, right? The women who want to get married.
Okay, caveat. The women who want to get married.
Yeah,
Okay.
which from what I've seen is more women than not. They all express in terms of, I don't believe in divorce. I believe in having one life partner, all of this stuff.
Right.
Men hear that all the time. But in terms of what actually plays out in reality, that's not what we see.
Right. But then the question is, what do I want the man to want? A man approaching me, what do I want him to want? I want him to share that value. I want him to want to have a wife. So we're dating with a view of seeing whether I would be a good life partner and vice versa.
I'll ask you a controversial question.
Okay.
Would you get married if divorce was illegal?
If divorce was illegal,
yes.
Would I get married?
Yep.
Yes, I would, but I would take longer.
Say more?
I would take longer to really be sure that this is the right person. And I also would take my time with sex. I would take my time with, you remember I feel like we've gone full circle. You know, the beginning we were talking about pace.
Yes.
That would be even more important for me now. Because this is now a marathon. This ain't no sprint.
100%.
I will go to jail.
Right. So the way that you would move
Yes.
if divorce was illegal, that is how every woman should move.
But that's how I'm moving
If
now
they want marriage.
as a Christian, because it's not illegal, but it's not something that I now believe in. And I'm telling you as a baptized Christian. So you have to understand there's a lot of people that will say things because it's very easy to open up your mouth and say things.
Very true.
But I've been dunked in water and
Holy water.
given my life to Jesus Christ.
Holy water. He has it now. It's up there.
Slightly different when
course.
I'm telling you that I'm not in it for divorce.
I'm not saying I don't believe you.
No, but
I'm saying for
saying
the
that-
men, how can they tell the woman who is like you, who's genuinely about that, and the woman who's just saying that because she may believe that
No, but
in
you
the
have
moment.
to look at the lifestyle. Has she been baptized?
Has she been
do you know
dunked in
how
holy
serious
water?
that is? Do you know how many Christians that haven't?
Very true. You're right. You're very right.
It's a commitment.
So he should ask, be like, she's like, I believe in marriage. He's like, have you been baptized?
No, but it's in the dialogue. It's in the dialogue. I think, but
Yes.
it has to come up. You know, if you as a woman have these really strict values that you're imposing on this man that you've
Sure.
just met, I think it's fair for him to be able to unpack where they come from.
I agree.
And in that dialogue, then you can unearth, like, so are you a Christian? Do you have a faith? Is there, like, what's your upbringing? And you should be able to softly work out, okay, are we dealing with somebody that has heard this on a television program and it sounds good?
Yes.
Or are we dealing with a woman that really is about her faith and is taking this journey very seriously and sees me as a potential husband for her and a father for her children?
Yes.
And that, it needs to happen. A man needs to be able to have that dialogue. If
That
he's
due
going
diligence. I completely agree. I completely agree.
100%.
Yeah.
In terms of what I'm looking for in a man, the truth is I don't know, because I've been baptized. It's very different because I used to lead with sex. Me being attractive was never the issue. You know, think like a man.
Yes.
You know when they talk about trophy fish, and so they said men fish for two reasons. They fish either for food and survival and subsistence, or they fish and they take it as a trophy fish to show their friends and family what they caught, and then they throw that fish back in once they're done.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, go on.
I was a trophy fish for a lot of men,
Right.
especially men that weren't black.
Right.
Look at this sexy black woman.
Right.
Look at high five, yes. And then eventually they're like, oh, too many standards, nightmare. Let me see if I can maybe tap into another racial pool next. Like, it's just, especially with the swipe has made it a bit of a nightmare in that regard. So then I realized, I was like, okay, so we're leading with the sexuality. That's not going to work.
Yep.
I'm also being treated as, oh, you're so beautiful. But beauty is, okay, I might be beautiful to somebody until I'm 90, but like this kind of beauty, it's temporary. I'm young.
Yep.
I'm not going to be this young forever.
True.
So that can only last for so long.
Yep.
And even when it comes to, you know, acts of service that I clearly find very valuable in a relationship, what if you end up sick? What if someone gets ill and
Very
they
true.
can't do these things? So that's when I realized that actually I need to come away, get baptized, focus on myself, build up my passions, go to therapy, write a book, focus on my community, build my professional career, build me. And then now I've built myself, I now have to go back out there. As you've said, it's all well and good. I've done all this self-work. Great. We need to put it into action now.
Yep.
So now I have to go back into the dating pool with this new version of myself.
Yes.
And I have to see. I have to have experiences. And then from those experiences, then I'll be able to come back and answer that question for you, kid.
I hear that, and when she comes back, we'll answer.
But until then, it'd be silly of me to say, I want a man this, and I want a... Because I'm not too sure. I'm a very new version of
very
myself.
honest. Yeah, no, and I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Do you think that the man you were looking for before is different to the man you're looking for now?
They don't even go to the same pub. They don't. They are completely different. Like they are
Yes.
not the same. But the question mark is, who is this man? I just know it's not him because that man was attracted to my insecurities.
Say more. What do you mean?
That man was he was attracted to me dressing half naked all the time. because I felt I wasn't good enough.
Sure.
Right? He was attracted to me wearing wigs and weaves because I thought this was ugly.
Yeah.
He was attracted to my insecurities.
Oh, I see.
He wasn't attracted to me. He was attracted to the person I created because I was scared I wasn't pretty.
So he was attracted to the projection you had made because of your insecurities. I'm with you.
Right. So then as a result, I now have taken all of that off. He wouldn't even recognize me. He didn't know who I am now.
Yeah. But yeah, you're attracted to a different kind of man.
Oh, 100%. So I'm hoping he doesn't recognize me and walk past. You go. So then I can find the one that is, but I'm curious as to who is. I'm not entirely sure now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a type. I haven't for a while, but I don't know who finds me attractive and why. I almost want to do a focus group.
A focus group.
Just out of curiosity. Because I don't know.
Just to see.
I feel like I've just like come out of the cocoon and I'm like, right.
Where are we landing?
What are we doing?
Where are we landing? 100%.
I have no idea.
You don't have to answer this question. Have you felt... Okay.
I will answer it. You know I will. So
I know you will.
Ask the question.
But I always just preface, there's no pressure.
Okay.
Have you felt that, because obviously, you're well-educated, well-spoken.
Sure.
Hold yourself with a level of class and decorum, at least who I'm seeing in front of me today.
Sure.
And the reason I'm asking is mainly for my own personal...
Ask the
assessment.
question, Kit.
I have to prefix it.
No, you don't. It's been 12 minutes. Ask the question.
I do, because they get offended if I don't.
Who's they?
Oh, it's true.
Kit,
They will
ask
get
the
offended.
question.
Do you find yourself... Do black men ever look at you and think she dates white guys?
Yes, Kit. Yes. In the same way, I feel like black women will look at you and think the same.
That I get it all the time. That's why I'm asking.
So, yes, sir.
Okay, so what do you think that's about? Why? Because I've dated black women before, right? My ex is black, but
Sure.
I've dated different kinds of women, right?
Yes.
For me, it's not about the color, but I get that a lot. Like black women will look at me and think, oh, he only dates either mixed race girls or white girls.
I understand. For me,
Yes.
mine isn't strictly white.
Yeah.
As in, if you looked at a lineup
Yes.
of my exes, Chinese, Brazilian, Spanish, Nigerian, Jamaican, white, I genuinely feel as if, and this is horrific, but based on what a couple of men have said, which is why we're clearly not together today, they said I am like a gateway drug for black women for them. As in, if they have never experienced a black woman before, they said I make it easier for them.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's been said more than once.
Okay.
And I thought, oh God, okay. So then it's almost giving, you're very well spoken for a black woman.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the issue I have is when I'm navigating that, and the only reason I sound like this, because I was born in Britain. I don't know what you want. I was born in Britain. And I went to...
Yeah, but you don't talk like you're from Brixton, though.
Because I wasn't born in Brixton. I was born in Bristol. And even that, there's certain places that my mum went to ensure I was educated. She wanted me to be educated. What do you want me to do? So,
I'm on the same page with you.
I don't know what you want
on the same
from
page with
me.
you.
So that's how I sound. Now, if you follow my content, you know I don't sound like this all the time.
Yes.
And my brother's somewhat of a road man. My dad's about that life. So
Yeah.
no, I can switch it on and off.
100%. Code switching.
Indeed. But the reality is that I think it's more around how I make men feel. So as a black man, how do I make you feel? If you're an intelligent black man, then I think you feel excited because you're like, ooh, dialogue.
Yes.
We can talk and their brain is like, this is fun.
100%.
But if you fear, even if you are intelligent, if you fear you aren't simply because of maybe how I sound, then I might be intimidating for you. Even if we get on really well, you might project that fear onto me and think she only dates white guys because you're scared that maybe because of how well spoken I am,
Yes.
I would either judge you or we wouldn't be able to have conversations on a level. But I've had some of the most amazing conversations with people, black men, who are just, they're not book smart.
Yeah.
But they are so intelligent. They're more intelligent than me. Like
Yeah.
they can say things where I'm like, oh, mind blown.
Yeah.
And you know when you just sat there like, I've never considered that before. And they've experienced life in a way you've never thought of. Oh, I love this kind of, like, those conversations keep me going.
Yes.
But I fear that the projection, it's the fear that she sounds too well spoken or too white.
Yeah, I can't stand it.
So she will only date white men, when in actual fact, white men have made up a small portion. It is a multicultural array. It's a multicultural...
Diversity and inclusion over here.
It is DEI.
DEI.
100%.
Gates DEI tick.
100%. Like, we don't
not
discriminate over here at all.
Don't discriminate.
No, we're just here for the vibes.
Yeah,
but I do believe that when it comes to my personal experience with black men that are educated,
yes,
like yourself, the problem I have is that they have made me feel less than in certain situations.
Okay.
Give you a prime example. I went to university, Nottingham Trent University. There was a black guy that I was sleeping with, and you know, at uni, it's not serious, it's never that deep, and I didn't take it as such. It's just freshers, fun, blah blah blah. But we were all in the same friendship group, so it just kind of fizzled out, and it was just like back to friends, like normal stuff.
Yes.
And then there was a house party, and I came into the kitchen to put my drink down. Oh, hi. And he was there, and then he was surrounded by a group of white girls, and he literally said, "Oh, hey, Blackie."
No. No.
And the white girls were so like horrified.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
And then I just didn't know what to do. I'm 18.
Yeah.
And I just was like, and I got really upset and I just left.
Yes.
And that's not an isolated incident. I've had, even as a child, the most bullying I got was from a dark-skinned young man called Lamar. And he used to bully me for my lips. He used to call me burger lips. So what I then have to work through in therapy is not projecting that on every black man, because it's not every black man, but also trying to navigate why it is that it was largely black men in my life, where if I came in a space with them, they would feel the need to almost put me in my place in a way.
Interesting.
So then I wonder if other black women have had similar experiences where they have felt that black men have put them in their place, especially or in particular spaces with white women.
But wouldn't that be a reflection on black men, not whether he speaks road or well-spoken or has his shit together?
Right. But the issue is then, if that has happened to me, and we're trying to understand why black men might be intimidated by me or avoid me,
right?
Is it not more to do with something that they feel?
Oh, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, because then there's nothing I could say.
Yes.
I could be the funniest, most charismatic. I could tone this down and try and talk a bit more road. I could do all these other things, but I don't think it'd matter. No, realistically, depending on what that black man feels about himself and about black women,
I completely
I
agree.
couldn't do anything. So then it means that I have to then just kind of keep it pushing, knowing that black men will say that probably forever, and there's nothing I can do to change their mind because it's less about me.
It's more about them. No, I completely agree. I guess the reason I was asking is because I just wondered if you got that, because if you're like I feel like I've got the male experience version of you.
Indeed.
In the sense that if black women see me, they do make that assumption, especially if they are...
Yes.
How do I say this?
How do you say this?
If they are... Especially...
I'm not helping you.
No, don't help me.
I know what you want to say, but I'm going to sit right here.
Especially, it's all right. This is a test. I'm very good at this.
Yeah. No, carry on, please.
Especially if they haven't had a similar environment as me.
Similar upbringing is what I would have gone with.
Upbringing?
Yeah. That's what I had here to throw out as a lifeline for you.
Oh, okay.
Because the upbringing is what it is. That's what all of us are. We're
but I mean, like, my family Nigerian. There are plenty of Nigerians in this country.
But upbringing is not just where you're born.
No.
Upbringing to me is raised.
I agree. But the reason I'm saying that is because I think that I would assume, maybe it's a wrong assumption, a girl from a Nigerian household, like myself, brought up in this country, we would be closer than a girl who is from a white English household as well as me. But actually, I see it's interesting because I'd say, you know, my ex was very much like me, born and raised here, but intelligent, well-spoken, class, decorum, etc. But I just get it a lot where some black girls, I don't know, they just think that I would just not date them.
But I would think that about you.
Why? Why?
It's, you know what I think it is? I think it's a lot of media doesn't help you, because Love Island, if you were on Love Island,
Yep.
you would be going for the white girls. Based on what we've seen, only recently have we started seeing couples of black couples coming together. But when Love Island first started, that was the big issue, is that the black girls always seemed to be strugs to get partners, because the black men would always be chasing around after everybody else, and we didn't like the way that we were being portrayed on Love Island, because it almost felt like we were always passed over, like we weren't the most desirable. And I feel like the last few seasons have been amazing, because we've been able to be like, we're stunning too. Like, we are not the last resort.
Yes.
But programs like that can be quite toxic for the perceptions that, for example, people watching it, or people that have awareness, when you keep seeing that as the archetype, the dynamic is black man chasing white woman, right? If that's the dynamic that you think you're seeing,
I hear you.
on media, on reality TV show, and Love is Blind, and then if we keep being fed that,
Can't be Love is Blind though, but yes, you're right.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But I hear that, right? And I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
However, I do think there's also truth that the white women chase the black man.
Oh, yes.
And what I mean by that is, like, for example, where, maybe this is TMI, but I had this situation where, for example, I went to this event, I was invited to, press event, whatever, right? Not gorgeous black women there. I was like, oh, she looks really nice. Now, there are gorgeous women of all kinds there.
Yeah,
right?
you can like what you like, that's fine.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's fine.
you don't discriminate.
No.
Right? As a guy, if she's gorgeous, right? There's gorgeous white girls, mixed.
Yes, but you happen to notice.
But I know, so I was like, oh, okay, you know, like, maybe I'll try and, you know, as and when, if it happens. You talk to different people. Now, I remember there was one point where there was this white girl took high interest in me.
Right.
Okay. Now, as I tried to engage with the black girl, she seemed very closed off. Yeah. And I could tell she'd made that assessment of me that, you know what? This guy doesn't date a woman like me.
Yeah, probably.
Right? And she was dark skinned.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, probably.
The white girl, not only was she just open and engaging, but she actually came up to me. She was actually making an effort with me. And then from when you just look at that picture, if you don't have the context, it looks like, okay, cool. He's chatting to the white girl, not chatting to the black girl.
You're not even wrong, you know, because if I came in that room, I'd have been like, oh, here we go.
You see?
And then I would have internalized that
100%.
and then taken that into the next room with me.
100%.
And that would have been the narrative. The black man is with the white woman again.
100%.
But you're right. There's context there.
And I think,
yes.
And this is generalization, but I think culturally, white women have less of a thing about going after the man she wants. And I think black women don't do that with the men they want.
I also you have to remember, even just with my two examples, they're only two. I could give you many more.
I believe
it does something to you over time.
I agree.
We have to take that into consideration. Now take that and then add on all of the internet shitting on black women, especially recently. It just seems like really trendy. And I'm not one of those people that's like, black card. I don't play the black card for joke. Do you know what I mean? Because I take it so seriously.
Exactly.
So I don't want people to be like, oh, she's complaining again.
She's like,
but for real, over the last few years, I'd say in the last couple of years, it felt like it even got me in my feelings, where I was like, what's going on? It's not trendy to just treat us like we're just bottom of the barrel on these bloody podcasts, or on this one talking about this. And I'm thinking to myself, okay. So then when that's also happening, and keep in mind, I'm 32 post-therapy. Imagine pre-therapy, impressionable, insecure, black, young Paige, being exposed to all of that. There's a point at which you just don't want to have to be dealing with the fear that everybody thinks I'm less than. I
completely understand.
You're less free to be like, hey, you want to go on a date? Because you're just not interested today. You don't want to deal with the mess.
I completely understand.
Yeah.
Right. And what I'm going to say may sound unempathetic.
It's okay. Say it anyway.
Right. But so what? And the reason I say that is this.
Okay.
The reason I say that is this. For a lot of black men's experience.
Yes.
black women expect black men to do for them the way the white man does for the white woman. Okay, in terms of how he provides, protects her, all of that stuff.
I'm intrigued to see where this is going to go. Yeah, okay,
100%.
carry on. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
In terms of, let's say, about what he can provide for her, the lifestyle, all of that. Now, you know full well that as a black man, for me to become as successful as the white man, I have to be twice as smart and work twice as hard.
Stop you there. Who told you that those were the key metrics? Because they're not for me.
What do you mean?
Love, attention. White men have given me much more authentic.
Sorry, no, that's not what I'm talking. I'm not talking about love or attention.
But why is that not what we're talking about? Is the question.
I'm giving you an example.
Okay.
Of an example of, you know, when you said about you're less free and open because of what's happened, which is completely valid.
Okay.
I'm giving you an example about the expectation on black men from a lot of black women.
Okay, from a lot of, because I was going to say I actually know a lot of black women, shockingly, and
No, you
I
don't.
personally just feel like that might be a misconception with the black man, that we want you to provide the same. Some do, and I think providing across the board, even if we're not even putting race into it, provide the way I can provide for myself as a minimum, right?
100%. Sure.
So that's nothing to do with the white man. That's
Sure,
about
but-
how I can provide for myself. If you can't match that, I think a lot of the black women I know are like, do for me minimum what I can do without you there.
There is that, but there's some that they're not on a level, but they still want that.
Okay, well, I think
regardless.
they might be a smaller. I think they might actually be the minority now.
Well, the reason I would say that they're not the majority is because the kind of women who are in your position, especially women who are black, is few and far between. The majority of people, but especially women in general, they're not high achieving, successful, doing well for themselves. They're not. But actually, a lot of those women want a man who is, right? Regardless of where she is, regardless. So if we understand, I'm saying that from the male experience, a lot of black women want their black man to be doing what the white man's been doing.
Right.
But you know full well, I have to work twice as hard and twice as smart to get there. You know full well that for me to be in that position where I can provide that for you, it takes a lot more than what it does for compared to your white boyfriend. However, so what? At the end of the day, it's either I'm that guy who does that for you and you're attracted to me, or you're not. Regardless of if it's harder, regardless of my experience, regardless. For you, it's just because you don't know me. You don't owe me anything.
Yeah.
So for you, it's just, okay, either you're that guy
Or you're not.
or you're not that guy.
Simple.
So with all due respect, I completely understand. Like I said, I've obviously black mom, young black sisters. I completely understand. But at the end of the day, if I'm at a party, right, and I'm surrounded by attractive women, and I'm going to go with whoever shows the most interest, and you're giving me the cold shoulder, don't expect me to fight to put your guard down, right, just to validate X, Y, and Z.
You are right. And let me tell you, there was a situation with Aaron Pierre.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He came out and he said that growing up, he fancied Foxy Brown and Ashanti. They were like his teenage crushes.
Sure.
I thought, that's okay. Because as light skin with green eyes, I did think, whether I'm projecting or not, I did think maybe he might like a similar light skin green eye or a white lady. You think I wonder.
Sure.
When I heard that, I said, oh, I love that. And then continued living my life.
Yeah.
I circled back to the dialogue about a week later, and it had really heated up in the black women space.
Of course.
And I thought the dialogue would be shared with me, where everyone was like, what a pleasant treat. And there were a lot of women that were like, oh, he must just be doing this for press. He must be doing this.
So they didn't believe him. Wow. You can't win.
And I said,
You can't win.
oh, ladies, please. I don't think so at all. I was like, we're beautiful. We are beautiful.
Yeah.
But there is an impact of years of being told that you're not.
In the West. Because
colorism is alive and well where I'm from.
What I mean is, this is my anecdotal experience, my friends. I have noticed black women from other countries like South Africa, like Nigeria, they wear their natural whatever, and they're very, very beautiful, and they don't have this
chip on the shoulder.
Right.
No, it's true. Growing up with lots of white people.
Yes, I understand.
And Richard fancying Sarah and Lisa fancying Ollie.
Sure.
And I'm just like...
Yeah. Kojo's fancying Sarah too. What the fuck?
Kojo's also fancying Sarah as well. And I'm just like, I'm so happy for everybody. This is great.
Yeah.
It's a little bit traumatic, Honestly, it's a little bit erratic.
I
And
understand.
then you grow up and you internalize it. I think the hardest thing is finding out what's projection and what's just trying to notice a pattern of behavior to protect yourself. That's really difficult.
Yes.
Because then I think what people tend to do is they say it's projection if you happen to be wrong.
Yep.
And they say that you are just really intuitive if you happen to be right about that person.
So my question for you, because you don't seem like you have that. How do, and I'll say speak for the women, how can black women get to a point where you're at, where it's like, I don't need to project, like if a black guy takes an interest in me, I'm not going to make that assumption.
I can't answer that question because I'm light-skinned. No.
Paige, help me out here.
I can't answer that question because I'm light-skinned.
What about women who are your complexion?
It's not the same. Being black in Britain is not the same if you're dark-skinned as a woman and light-skinned. And this is me telling you the real situation. I've had someone say, a white partner say to me that he didn't think he would find me as attractive if I was dark-skinned. Needless to say, we broke up after that. But
I've had girls say that to me too.
No, but that's unacceptable to feel comfortable enough to say it to me that you think it's what me and you and the dark-skinned black women are over here. No, big man. It's us here and you're here. You cannot single, and that's what happens a lot. And I'm telling you the real. As a light-skinned black woman, it's almost like it's not the same, and the attention I get is different. And the way that I get courted is different.
Yes.
Because as that idiot said, they believe I'm the gateway drug for black women. And it makes it easier. What? Because I'm light-skinned and I'm well-spoken. So I could never sit here honestly and earnestly and say, well, black women, having not experienced what it feels like to be a darker skinned black woman in Britain, because that wouldn't be fair.
That's not what I'm asking.
What are you asking?
I'm saying, what do you think is how can we get to a point
where they're not projecting?
How they have done that work where they're not projecting, so they are open and available to the man who would want to choose them.
But this is my point. I couldn't answer that because I don't know how deep the trauma would go to then be able to say, do this, because it may not be that simple.
I understand.
So for me, my trauma might go here.
Yep.
Yeah? And then I say, okay, well, if your trauma is here, bit of therapy, bit of self-love, bit of face mask, and then you're here. But then if I've had trauma that goes here, I don't know what it takes for you to get from here to here.
I agree.
My advice might be too surface level, and then somebody who has been through the dark depth of racism in the UK might look at me and be like, she should really mind her business on this one.
100%.
Because everyone's experience is going to be slightly different when it comes to that.
I get you. But what I would say is, let's say you're right. Yours was here. You've gone from here to here. Even if someone starts here, your subscription could take them from here to here. It may not get you to where they are.
Okay, let me say, say it was a friend.
It's a friend.
It's a friend, and they're saying to me, I'm really struggling. I would tell them to do what I've done. Tap out. I tapped out for 2 years.
Yeah.
Tap, stop, all of it. Take a moment. Heal. I was really battered and bruised by dating apps. My self-esteem took a beating. The ghosting, I don't like being rejected. It's like, I don't
think anyone does.
No. But there's certain people that really struggle. So they'll sometimes reject first if they sense rejection is coming.
Yes.
That was me. Because it made me feel so awkward and so useless that I was like, oh no, they're going to reject me. And but actually, no, I'm not free. Never mind. So unhealthy. But I did it a lot.
Okay.
So then I realized I need to stop and heal myself.
Yeah.
And rejuvenate,
yes.
And then also look at the interactions and work out if there's anything that I've done in that. And I was heavily complicit in not setting any boundaries, rushing into sexual interactions too soon. So doing that. And then once I've been able to work on anything that I did to make it worse, and I realized, okay, so I've done the self-work to make sure that I have a high enough self-esteem that I'm not chasing this type of toxic man. And when I am in a man's presence, I set my boundaries, I go home on my own, and I dress in a certain way so that the mindset is, even if I want to be sexy later down the line, the first thing is not my sexiness. That's not the key thing that you're chasing me down for.
Yes.
So once I've worked on all those things, then I personally think it's a case of trying to experience men outside of the men that made you feel that way. That would probably be the next step.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times where we have dialogues on the internet, and then, you know, black men might say, well, I don't think that way. Or black women say, I don't agree. And that's 100% right, because we're not a monolith. And no human is. But then you have to come out of a certain space to find the people that do feel differently.
Yes.
And sometimes it's people, especially because you're busy, you're working, there's a lot going on. You could go all 10 years and be in the same space with the same people.
Very true.
You have to be intentional about leaving
Yes.
that area where, for example, somebody might see black women as being ugly. You have to move out.
Yeah.
And if you can do that even a few times in a week or a year, or whatever it takes for you, you decide your frequency, then you might be able to build up the realization that was just this was just them. That is not the shared view of the world, because it's not.
Yes, I agree.
But that is going to take everybody a certain amount of time to do. And also, I've got black women that have gone over to the US, for example, been snapped up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But not everyone has the money to just fly over to New York and grab a man.
Yeah. That's why you're going over there.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to test it myself. But that's just not feasible for a lot of people. So that's where I say you just focus on yourself. Because, you know, those annoying people that say, oh, I stopped looking. And when I stopped looking, I found the man of my dreams.
Yeah.
Sick of it. But I'm very inclined to believe there's something in it where you are so insular, building on yourself, that you're glowing in a different way, which attracts people that you're not paying attention to.
It attracts.
So that's why I would say tap out and just do that, and you might end up glowing to the right people and not even notice.
Yes, and I think that is a beautiful place to start.
Yeah.
Wherever she is.
Wherever.
Light skinned, dark, wherever she is, that's a beautiful place to start for sure. We could go on forever, but I'm gonna wrap it there.
I think that's probably a good idea. Otherwise, we won't leave here.
I know. We'll be here till next week.
We'll be here
But I loved
all
it. I
week.
loved it. But I love it, Paige. I honestly really appreciate your energy and your take and everything like that. Thank you for coming on. Tell us about your new book. Promote the book. Tell us.
Actually, I've got a whole chapter in my book called Natural Hair and Dating.
Yep. Nice.
And it's just about the nuances of having afro hair or natural hair, curly hair. It's not just for people with afro hair, even though it says on the title of the book, How to Love Your Afro. It's actually for anybody who basically looks in the mirror and is not 100% sure about how beautiful the reflection is looking back. Then you can buy the book.
Amazing.
So it's going to be out October 9th and is available for pre-order at the moment on Amazon and Waterstones if you are outside of the UK.
Amazing stuff. And if people want to find you, where can they find you?
Paige Lewin Official. That's on all of them.
All of them?
Yeah. It's
okay, cool.
SEO. Change all of them the same.
Same brand?
Yes.
She's a pro now.
I am.
She's a professional. She's a professional. Well, Paige, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This was amazing.
We appreciate it.
Honestly, I really enjoyed myself.
Good. I'm glad. Guys, go check her out. Go check out the book for sure. Give her a follow. Catch her story. All of that good stuff. Thank you for tuning in. And I will see you in the next episode.